Shae Vizla is available again as a subscriber reward. So we're going to talk all about her tonight. That and more on this episode of the Escape podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 351. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
It's going great. I'm enjoying my new flare, the Pipeworks flare. I don't have it on this character, but I have it on a number of other characters. And it made me think about, in general, when flares first came out, I was thinking, it's just the UI element. I'm not excited about it. But it has really grown on me over the months, and I like it. It is a UI element. You can see it in game, and you can see it whenever you target someone, which I'm targeting people all the time as a healer, so I get to see when they look like Blizz or when they have this flare or that flare. So I'm thumbs up for flares in general.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's a kind of a unique cosmetic thing that they can offer, so I like it. Anyway, I've been doing my conquest routine, which I have really sort of down to a science, which makes me even enjoy it more, because I'm not like thinking, okay, I have this activity left I could do, which character should I do it on? I just know what the next character is going to be, because what I do now is I look at the guild roster on the pub site, and I take the character that's at the top, and I do all the easy stronghold stuff until that person gets to target, and then I do the next person. And then if I'm going to do heroics, I do the first available shadow or scoundrel that hasn't already gotten, and then another. So I can always tell at a glance, looking at the guild roster, who's the next person I should log in to do something with for conquest. And also the next week, I always know which characters I have to log into to get the conquest completion, because it's the same characters every week, instead of like just sort of figuring it out every time and doing it slightly different every time. Well, it's interesting
That's handy.
to me.
I know, that's handy. Sorry, I was arranging the Shae Vizlas on the screen here so there could be two of them, so I could say in the chat, there's two of them. This is getting out of hand. Sorry, I was very distracted.
Anyway, so my conquest routine, which usually comes along with coffee in the morning, and it's a very gentle way to start the day. We had a really fun MFN this week. We've been sort of working or hitting some achievements, which is a different thing to do and very rewarding. And then, we also had our ops night this week, or tonight, and we went into hard mode Red Palace, where we one-shot Bestia, and then
Not
we
Bestia.
went...
Yeah, Bestia.
Yeah, Bestia. And then we went to Tyrans and
wiped a couple times.
Yeah, and it also started to have that bug where tiles of the floor disappear, which actually I haven't seen in a long time. I mean, the bug is that when you come back after a wipe, there's not all the floor tiles respawn.
Right.
And then also we had a mega recently where we went and did datacrons. So we did a bunch of datacrons, including we had some people try to coach us through the one on Osis, where you have to go and click on 4 things of different colors, and then you go inside a little instance where you can check and see if you've got them all clicked correctly, which I didn't. And then there's another place where you go and do like some wall jumping to get to the datacron. And
did you finish that one up?
I did not, because I had to go back and start over on the clicking thing.
Oh, that's right. Because however we were doing it, and we were doing it with a whole group, and you got to click those runes in order, and you had missed one for whatever reason.
And there's not any, when you click on it, there's not any feedback that tells you actually clicked on it. So probably one of them,
especially now when there's 10 people standing around, or 15 people
I probably
that
clicked at the same time someone else did and didn't realize that I didn't get that one or whatever. So I can go back and do that part in any time. But yeah, it was a fun night.
It sure was.
So yeah, that's what's been going on with I actually saw on Reddit too. Somebody posted a stronghold. It was their Dromon Cause apartment, but it was called on Reddit Jungle Apartment. And I'm like, oh, that is really cool. So now I'm thinking about filling up my Nar Shaddaa stronghold with like tons of plants, like just everywhere.
I'm a fan of that. That's what I have on my Tatooine balcony, my big garden area.
Yeah, but
I
you should check it out on Reddit. It's called Jungle Apartment,
I
I
will do
think.
that.
Yeah, because I'm familiar with your Tatooine balcony, and this is like way more. I don't know how they did it, but it's way more like lush and colorful, and she's got like a
So you're saying it's just a lot
fractal.
better than I'm familiar with
It's different.
your crappy Walmart garden there, Max. It's cute. That's a fun little thing. But you should go look at something real.
But I mean,
Go
just
check
to
that
give
out.
you some
Inspiration.
perspective, no perspective. There is a fractal that's sort of like hidden in there, and just his face and his like snout are coming out. So it's like
Hmm.
very. And
I
I
have
actually went
a bunch
and
of
located
creatures in
some of
my
those
garden,
plants.
but okay, whatever. I have little
Okay, but what I'm saying is you can
Thronta
see the
and
creatures in yours.
yeah. Oh,
What I'm saying,
oh.
I was put the perspective I was trying to bring to it is you can only see the face of this fractal because he's like poking out of all this.
All right. No, it sounds really cool. And I'm a
Yeah.
big fan. I've gotten every single one of the large tree, especially the large plants that you could get. I've got all of those decos available to me, which is one of the things I like to place.
So anyway, it was inspiring, and I went and looked to see if I had any of the same plants. I do have quite a few of them, but I put one in my stronghold. It was huge. It like goes on like a large thing, and it was in a planter. And now, like every time I go to look get, it's like in the way. I had to take it out because I couldn't get like to my cargo hold because it was taking up all the room. But anyway, yes, some planning would have to be done. Anyway, so yes, that's been my week, my 2 weeks in SWTOR. And how are things going with you, Max?
Also going well. Had a little bit of a complication last week and got through that. Things are getting busy at the one on a bunch of fronts. So it was interesting being off for a week. We've got some news to catch up on. Had a fun 2 weeks, as you said, with the mega. That's always fun. Fun times. Mandatory fun night is always fun. Did wrap up nightlife. We didn't get to really talk about that. The final wrap up of nightlife. I did not get the Rhodian. I got over a dozen of the BWL Wraith mounts. I did get the Predator mount. In fact, I've got it in my inventory sitting right here still. I haven't clicked on it just to show it off there. These are only some of the certificates I got. So I think I got like 150 golden certificates and like 60 or 70 cartel market certificates. I burned through, I think, around 700 in the last 2 weeks alone, 700 blue Kingpin tokens, and I did not get a Rhodian. However, that's okay because now I've got something to complain about for the next year. And I
To
was
grouse about.
thinking about that. So I'm it was like the last 2 days, and I had like 150 Kingpin tokens to burn through still, and I'm thinking at this point, at this point, I'd hope I don't get it because
Right, right.
I use Shae Vizla. It's not like I'd pull it out once to say, oh, here it is, I got it, and then I would pull out Shae Vizla and use Shae Vizla, and I would never pull it out again. So it's like more valuable to me to not get it, to than to have gotten it. And that was 700 in the last 8 days, Forrester. That was not. Yeah, that was not all of nightlife. But yeah, so now that it is done and I don't have it, now I can complain about it for the next year and say how unlucky I am and whatnot. But I got, as Zima pointed out, I did get the
So the
Predator mount.
universe
So that's,
was on your side.
yeah. Yeah, because if I had gotten it at the very end there and like it got to that turning point of, well, if I get it, if I haven't gotten it now and I've complained about it so much, and now if I get it, I've like got nothing, now it's the end of that whole thing. So yes. And then the other note, so I only had two things in my show notes here for what I've been doing this week. One was nightlife, the other was clown party. We're a family-friendly guild. We we tend not to use a lot of expletives. And I think it was you that came up with this.
Yeah, it was.
You invented this. So, so when an ops night was going particularly badly one night, not tonight, although it did also go relatively badly tonight. He said, "Boy, this is quite the clown party." And we have used that nonstop ever since. So tonight with Tyrans, for whatever reason, which we've killed before many times, Tyrans was a clown party. We had new people in. We were doing it in vet mode. Wasn't that tough, but we had a bunch of bugs. And we had bugs like Tyrans Tyrans like fell off the platform, was like running around underneath.
One time he fell.
It's like
Tyrans fell off.
It's like we had people on our team that were falling off, and then Tyrans falls off. What are you doing? Where is he? He's down. He's down below.
To be clear, he fell when he went down. There was nobody down there. It wasn't like he was following somebody.
He wasn't like
he just went on his own.
No, yeah. He just like stepped in a wrong direction, fell down. He's running around down there, and then he came back up. Whatever he clicked on the datacron down there.
In his ops chat, he was saying, "Dang it, I fell off."
Sorry, guys. I took one step to the left, and then we had that other bug where if you wipe and you come back in, once in a while, one of the tiles that's supposed to be there, and remember, you have fewer tiles in vet mode, one of the tiles that's supposed to be there is missing. So we did that. We came back, a tile's missing. We came back again, and another tile is missing.
Yeah, so we're starting with 2 fewer tiles.
Like, what is this clown party? So 2 fewer tiles it's like we're getting punished, and we were convinced that either Matt Pusevich had coded this in, or Matt Pusevich was behind the scenes watching, going,
I know what to do next.
You're bad, and you're being punished for it, and deleting tiles for us as we went. So that was our clown party for tonight, which was still hilarious and fun with our crew. And really appreciate B. Kavanaugh for subbing in for us, and Melung, our master of many things, including another ops team on Monday night on the Republic side, and also runs a lot of, he's the co-leader for our Lord of the Rings Online guild that we've got for AIE. And then B. Kavanaugh is the master of the Conquest spreadsheet. If you've not seen that, it's been posted on Reddit and elsewhere. It is an awesome spreadsheet for planning out your conquest, and we've talked about that before. And B. Kavanaugh's in the chat room. So there we go. B. Kavanaugh, if you've got a link to that spreadsheet you want to drop there in the chat room so people can see it. Not to spring that on you, but yeah, that is a beautiful work of art in spreadsheet work. But with that, boy, that was a long intro, but we can get through a little bit of actual news.
You can edit it
now
out
an
later.
Imperial News Network report.
Bugwatch. So I did not write up the is this I think this might have been from last week, the dance floor bug.
Mm-hmm.
The won't
probably.
stop timer being too short. But we did have a bunch of things still in the Bugwatch. We've got Natha, is that her name? I believe running Bugwatch for us. That's the community team alias. If you see that in the dev tracker, that's the new community member, and she's doing a great job of keeping track and escalating all of those bugs that you put in there. Stuff with the crew skills window I see in here, Meridian cutscene, a few other things. So just keep an eye on that Bugwatch. It's just really good to know, continuing as we keep saying that somebody's keeping an eye on that kind of stuff.
And also we had a message from Keith about what they've been doing with credit sellers, and he talked about that they've been successful in getting some of them, but that it's an ongoing effort, and basically every time they close whatever loophole they've been using, they can create a new one. And he urges everyone to continue to report them, because even though it may seem like it's not having any effect, it does have an effect. And then he also included just a warning of another way to cut down on credit sellers would be if the buyers didn't buy credits. And if you do buy credits from a credit seller using, actual real life currency, you do open yourself up for possible um, shenanigans with your account on the part of the credit sellers, because they don't get those credits by um, honest means in the first place. They stole them from somebody anyway.
Right.
So, yeah. Um, yeah. So you put your credit card and your SWTOR account at risk when you buy credits from credit sellers. So in general, just don't do it. If you have so few credits that you need help, then
If
join a
there was
guild,
no market,
participate in
they
things.
they wouldn't they wouldn't be posting, because it would be a waste of
Right.
their time. So
Right.
because people buy, that's why they do it. But I wanted to reinforce that for people that haven't seen this for as we have for whatever 15 years now in
Yeah.
MMOs.
Right.
Credit sellers get their credits by scamming people and hacking accounts and taking over and stealing accounts from people. So if you don't have multi-factor authentication on your account, they steal accounts, they steal all the credits, they shuffle them, they do these money laundering tricks to spread them out through free accounts, and then you come to them and they're like, "Oh, sure, we'll sell you some credits," and then they'll try to steal your account. So don't buy, don't talk to them, report them. That is the deal. Yes. No. It's so easy to get credits in Star Wars. We did a whole, how to join the Tres Comas Club podcast episode a couple months back. We've touched on that topic multiple times. Just go look up our podcast and make your own
Maybe
credits.
we should talk one night about how to get the first few 100,000 credits, like when you first start the game, because I think that's the level where people feel maybe that they're poor.
That's
When they look at
something.
the GTN and they see things in prices of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of credits, and they're
It's a good
picking up
idea.
10 credits at a time off of mobs.
That's a great idea. That's something my dad used to say growing up. It's the first million that's the hardest.
Yeah. Yes.
Not that we ever had the first million, but
Right. Because it was hard.
because it was hard. So yeah, good one there. Also, great thread in here from our friend Chris Schmidt, who oversees PvP, especially the ranked PvP. A relatively extensive post around what's going on with the replica rewards. So what this is when they're making available the PvP rewards, the ranked PvP rewards from previous seasons. So if you look real close to what he says right here, before the end of season 14, so it's not slated even for 6.2, but post 6.2, which is coming in December, there will be a game update which will have the Furious Weapon set. The Furious Weapon set is the weapons that are on fire. Am I going to PvP, ranked PvP, to get my 50,000 PvP tokens to get the Furious Weapon set? Probably not, and I will be sad. But if I could stomach the ranked PvP, that's that right there. Number 3 here, Furious Weapon Replica Set. This is exactly why I would PvP. This is close to making me want to do ranked PvP. Why do I not do ranked PvP? His last paragraph here addresses it a little bit. And whatever they can do around this would be interesting. So he says, finally, we've heard lots of reports around harassment and general toxicity in the game, in particular in PvP, and it's ranked. That's the issue. I'm looking forward to sharing more about the things that we've been working on to address toxicity in particular and the state of PvP in general in a future post. Appreciate that, Chris. Chris Schmidt, working on PvP and ranked PvP in particular. I've got thick skin. Stuff doesn't bother me, but I don't need, I also just don't need it. So if I go in
Right.
there and I'm not the best and whatever, it doesn't even matter. Even if you're the best sometimes, and there's two elite dudes playing with their friends, and you didn't do the exact thing that they wanted to do. You could have like more healing than the healer, more DPS than both of the other DPS put together, and and protection. But because you didn't CC at the right time, they tell you to go die in a fire. That's not how I want to spend my evening. That's not coffee and contemplation time.
I mean, I guess in a way I'm thick-skinned when it comes to that too, because it doesn't really affect my self view.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's also not how I want to spend my time.
Right. But I just don't play then.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Well, then
life is short, man. You surround yourself with people that
and I've got
bring you
other
up,
things
not
to
the other
do.
way around.
And I mean, it's it's challenging enough, and then to have asshats running around that are if that's who you're spending your time with, then you reflect on that for a second. You go, really? Is this where I want to spend my time with? Now, a lot of ranked PvPers, the problem, the main problem with it is most of the ranked PvPers are really good and good people.
Right.
It's the vocal minority of non-optimal personalities that ruin it for everybody. So there you go.
I told you about that time I did the World Boss on Osis, and I got in this group. It was a pug group, but it was started by all these guys that PvP together. And they were the friendliest, most polite, most fun ops people, people to do the boss with that you could ask for. It was just really,
Kogas.
it was kind of funny.
Kogas is
Kogas.
elite ranked PvPer.
He's elite PvPer, exactly.
Great guy,
great
willing to help anybody, spends a lot of time. That's the core of the ranked PvPer community is those awesome people. But that vocal minority is really bad, and it just ruins it. It just ruins the experience. So,
Okay.
What else we got? Oh, I was looking for this information. So, what do you got for me, Seema, on our dang our weekly
on
events?
Yes. Okay. So
event schedule. Lay it on me.
So even though if you're in the game and you look at your conquest tab, it'll say the next conquest is pirate incursion. Daniel Steed says that is incorrect.
Incorrect, sir.
Incorrect, right. What is in his post is correct, which is going to be Rackles next week. And then at the end of the month, we're going to get Swoop Rally again, which I'm looking forward to. So it's kind of the opposite of what they said last time, which was, well, I don't remember now. I'm confused, but they say it's wrong in the conquest screen. And
right.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week, but it should be Rackles. And also, speaking of events, there's a double XP event coming.
Yes, double
September
XP.
Oh, wait. This can't be right.
What does he say?
September 22 to September 29, so it's 1 week. No, I thought it was a month.
September 15th to October 13th.
Yeah, I don't know where I got those dates that I put down there. So yes. But then, maybe
September
I was
22
like,
to 29.
I did the dates
probably
for something else.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, there's no requirements. Yeah, so okay, September 15th to October 13th. So starting in a few days because we're 9/4. So yeah, in 10 days is starting, and then it'll go for about a month. So more double XP. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with that.
And
I know.
And renown. I think that's the thing that a bunch of people in our guild have been looking for is the double renown starting on the 15th, because a lot of people are going for renown rank 999 because that's an achievement. Oh, and then Valor. Yeah, so Zen is going for Valor. He's going for Valor rank 100, which I already have on my Vanguard, so, whatever.
From like 2006.
Yeah, actually, yes, but, And then what's coming on 22nd to 29th, finally, we get to find out when this is coming back. What's next?
Well, that's the swoop rally at the end of the month. So
Swoop Rally. We got to
yeah,
finish. Are you legendary?
I am with 2 of them, I think.
Okay.
I have one to finish up, and I need to work on um, tokens a little bit to finish buying all the stuff. But yeah, should be able to do it this next time.
Good. Good. I am not there yet, and hope to get there this round. So that'll be good. I've been waiting for that to come back, so that's a good one. In guild and community news, we always have a monthly event each month. Marcus, who from the Working Class Nerds podcast is one of our officers who runs our monthly Epic Guild event. So every Tuesday we have our guild fun night. Once a month we have a bigger event that does more wide ranging, a little more difficult to plan type stuff. I believe it is scheduled for the 25th of September.
Yep.
Remember the 25th of September. So there you go. So looking forward to that. I don't think we exactly know what it is yet, but the last round we did a bunch of difficult to get group datacrons, little world boss stuff on the side. It was a good time. That was just last week.
Yeah, it was. Oh, and I also want to give a shout out to Fibro Jedi's blog, where they posted an extremely comprehensive gathering guide for SWTOR that was written by I'm going to say this wrong, but Celine the Raven. And the reason I came across it is because I wanted to get some, I don't know, grade 9 maths or whatever it was, and I couldn't off the top of my head remember where they were. So I Googled it, and this guide came up, and it has like everything you ever wanted to know about gathering, including where you would find grade 9 maths, which, by the way, is a cool, which as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, now I know. You go to that jungle area where the gravestone is.
And our final bit of news that I figured we should throw out there is October 30th.
Yeah.
Season 2 of
This is the way.
The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is coming back, and boy, I keep hearing, sort of teaser stuff coming for season 2. And I'm getting excited. I'm getting revved up. I'm looking forward to it. I'm I'm a big fan of Bill Burr, and I thought Bill Burr was one of the best parts. But the whole show is just spectacular.
Yeah, he was good in that.
He was very good. I mean, he just played himself, but
Right.
which was the funniest thing that I noticed. He's one of my favorite comedians. So if they could like add there's a couple other comedians that I like. I forgot his name. Anyway, Bill Burr, awesome. But more people coming back, more actors we hear, and we're speculating who they might be. I am really looking forward to this. It should be awesome. But that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. Tonight, we're talking about one other piece of news, and that piece of news is this right here. Let's see what she has to say to kick us off.
Boring.
This is boring. I gotta turn up her volume here. Voice volume. Crank it up.
I don't think so.
I
I
don't
know
think
this
so.
is important, but I miss the camaraderie of my clan.
That's nice.
What?
What? That's my favorite one right there. Shae Vizla. Shae Vizla is back. Shae Vizla is a subscriber reward. So she was originally introduced to the game as a companion that you could get as a subscriber reward. She was gone for a long, long time. She is back as a subscriber reward. So tonight we're going to talk all about Shae Vizla, the companion, but also Shae Vizla, the character, which has a long and storied history with Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO. Shae Vizla was one of the characters that really launched the game. So we'll go through some of the backstory. We'll talk about the companion. It's probably my number one companion to use. We'll talk about why that is. But Shae Vizla, if you log in between now and if you subscribe anytime between now and October 5th, just subscribe once, you get Shae Vizla the companion. And I would highly recommend her as a companion. I don't get anything I guess if you need a referral code, I don't even know what my referral codes are, but I was going to say, I don't get anything if you subscribe, but I guess technically ask Seema for her referral code. If you need one, but subscribe, get Shae Vizla. It's worth it. Anyway, Shae Vizla. I looked up a bunch of research. Do you want to talk through this a little bit, Seema? I guess let's start it off with the question I always spring on you, which you're probably prepared for. What do you think of Shae Vizla as a companion? I mean, do you use Shae Vizla quite a bit or not? I saw your Shae Vizla was out here, also had her helmet off, which I like.
Yes,
I like it with her helmet off.
I do like Shae Vizla, and I run with her quite a bit. I even kept her a lot of the time where she was during that time when she was fairly broken. Remember when
Yeah.
ranged companions wouldn't come into range?
Right.
So, yeah, I even kept her during that time.
Sure.
She's kind of my default go-to. Like I do like to use Nico Akar also as a ranged companion. And I do use Darth Hexig quite a bit for a melee companion. So it kind of depends on what character it is, but I do really like Shae Vizla, and she's my go-to on many of my characters.
So the difference, and the chat room's talking about it a little bit right now. Super Squirrel is talking a little bit about it. Squirrel sighting. The differences between companions are very small these days. It used to be a lot bigger in the past. They're relatively small. But Shae Vizla in particular, because she's ranged, so that there's still a difference between ranged and melee companions, for one. And for two, she has just a couple abilities that, again, not all that different or all that much more, that doesn't make her order of magnitudes better than any other companion. But when I'm looking for a ranged companion, especially because she has death from above, she does a fair amount of great DPS, and she's ranged, she's my go-to companion for that. I do use Nico Akar from time to time just because I think he's an awesome character as well. Again, an iconic character that helped launch the game. And then I'll use...
And for new characters too, I often will, in terms of someone who wasn't around to launch the game, Paxton Rawl. I like to use him too.
Paxton Rawl and Darth Hexid I use quite a bit if I want a melee companion. And sometimes I do want a melee companion, especially if I'm on like a tank character. And I would prefer a companion that's in close so that, that I can manage it a little bit easier. If I'm up in the mob's face. But Shae Vizla is my top companion on my mercenary, for example. Really like it. All right, I noticed our two Shae Vizlas look slightly different, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. I don't think I have all her default. I think I just dyed her armor. Yeah, I must have just dyed her armor differently because she's got all her regular armor set on. And, and then I put her a dye set that matched the dye set of my armor, the black, red black.
Yes, you did. That's adorable.
Well, you match too, so.
Well, but I didn't. Yes, that was a coincidence. The fact that our armors match.
And then I usually run with her helmet off too because her red hair is iconic, and part of it. We are on Rishi right now, which is a key part of her story. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk a little bit about her and her story. She was a bounty hunter. She was Mandalorian. She's a bounty hunter. That's sort of how she got her start. She was a pretty high-end bounty hunter. She did some pretty epic things. She's got an epic name and lineage with the Vizla family, which lives on in later lore. In fact, more into the Clone Wars days even, and we'll talk about that. But she assassinated Republic Senator Koenig, who was part of the Imperial force that was attacking when that led up to and was part of the things that were going on prior to the invasion of the start of the the assault on Tython, the assault on Coruscant, and the attack on Alderaan. And then the assault on Coruscant was the big thing that sort of launched her for Star Wars: The Old Republic. If we go to, and I think I even have them up here.
I mean, she's the reason from that Blur trailer, Deception or Deceivers, whatever it's called, that many people rolled up bounty hunters to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it part of the reason that I did her doing Death from Above in the cutscenes in those Blur trailers originally. The Deceived was the first trailer that ever dropped, and Hope was the second trailer that ever dropped. She's in Deceived. I think she's even in Hope for a little bit, but Deceived is the sacking of the Jedi Temple with Darth Malgus. So here we are, and this is Darth Malgus walking up, and I don't want to skip ahead too much. There she is. So she is part of the assault team. It's her and Darth Malgus's companion. Sad story. Read the Darth Malgus books if you want to find out what happens there. But here she is assaulting. See, she's got a key part of this, and she's just awesome. Darth Malgus walks up. She's up in the balcony. She's part of the assault force. She was the one who, in this assault, from the story perspective, took out the shielding, which allowed that shuttle that you just saw to come crashing into the temple. So there was shielding over the Jedi Temple. She did the infiltration to take out the shield generator. That's what allows this to happen. The shuttle now crashes into the temple. The shuttle bay opens, and all the red lightsabers light up. And then you see Darth Malgus's eyes. Finally, we have returned. That was Shae Vizla's doing. Epic, isn't it? And then I think she even shows up here in the fight as we see this go on. So her and Nico Okar were two of the amazing characters in these original Blur trailers. Oh, here she is. She does that rocket boost, that flame sweep. It's just awesome. But as you said, Seema, those two characters really sold the idea of, I would love to play this game, and I don't need to be a Jedi.
Right.
It's fine to be a Jedi. Glow sticks in the dance club is cool from time to time. But I can be epic. I can be just as epic as a Jedi or a Sith with a smuggler or a bounty hunter or an Imperial agent. Just awesome. So, that scene right there where Malgus.
Yeah, I'm just watching the Blur.
I know.
Cinematic.
You can't not.
I know how it ends. Dang it.
And Darth Malgus. And
when I was reading up for this discussion tonight, I never realized this, but this sacking of the Jedi Temple is going on while the Sith and the Republic are on Alderaan in peace talks.
Yeah.
And that's where this deception part comes in.
So they were...
It's like... they were distracting the Republic with peace talks so that they could then do this thing to take over Coruscant, and then they forced the Republic to sign the Coruscant Treaty in order to get Coruscant back.
Darth Malgus, epic machinations there. But yeah, epic. And then yes, I believe she's back in the... She comes back in the Hope trailer as well. Does she not? We'll confirm here. So the second time, or maybe she doesn't. I don't remember her in the Hope trailer. Nope, there she is. She's rocketed. Look at her jet. My backpack's got jets. She just jets right in and walks in with the whole assault team on Alderaan. And this is where you meet Jace Malcolm, and you see the Satele Shan pushback. So this is where I decided to have a trooper too.
Right. this trailer.
Right. The Jace Malcolm Commando with his assault cannon. So here he is up on the cliffs and his whole thing. And then Satil Shan, the establishment of Satil Shan as an awesome character. And she's got she's got her saber staff. This was just epic stuff that really launched the game. And you wanted to be a trooper. Look at these guys. How could you not? And they're just as epic. And Jace Malcolm for a while goes toe to toe with Malgus. And
Yeah,
I mean, it's not just, I mean, he plows through Sith. Now Malgus is like a Sith, Jedi or a Sith Council, Sith Lord, so you could see why
Super Sith.
yeah, or where Jace Malcolm doesn't win out in this duel, but he takes the Force lightning. And if it wasn't for the Force push at the end, he would have gotten to Malgus. And then they're dragging Jace Malcolm in. But so Shae Vizla showed up in here too, just for a little bit. But yeah, so that was a key part of her story. She was part of this that established her as a really epic bounty hunter, and sort of established her. If you're thinking about her story, established her reputation enough to be part of sort of the governing council of the Mandalorians. They don't have that kind of governing council, but the sort of the elite of the Mandalorians, which positioned her well for the future. Oh, look at Satil Shan igniting her saber staff. She does the two sides. She is the best. Like sword, laser sword through the droid while she just takes out 3 other Sith as she comes in. Oh, sorry, I'm so distracted. For people that are listening to the podcast and not seeing the visuals, we're watching the Hope trailer still and just cannot get over Satil Shan. She just annihilates Malgus in this fight. She is the reason that Malgus wears the mask at the end after this assault.
Right. When you see him on Ossus.
From here on, he wears the
on,
mask. Right. Look, she takes his lightsaber in her hand with the Force power. And then Jace Malcolm comes back, distracts Malgus, and he's got the thermal detonator. So it's actually Jace Malcolm that puts him permanently in the mask. And then Satil Shan finishes the job with a thundering blast into the rock cliff and takes him out of the fight. Anyway, we're talking about Shae Vizla.
Okay, but anyway, back to Shae Vizla.
Enough of this. Back to the game. Where were we? Shae Vizla, are you still here? Yes, she hasn't left me. You're
She's
still
like, right now. She's like, so you like Satil Shan,
Standing
huh?
around rarely accomplishes anything.
All right, I'll stop standing around, Shae Vizla. Okay, so then what happens? What happens in her story? She was part of that assault. She's now part of the elite. She decides though that this whole war thing, that's not her deal. That's not what she's into. She's not there to like be part of Malgus's war, be part of the war effort, be part of the Empire. She's not a joiner. They're Mandalorians. They're independent. So after that, and after the signing of the treaty in particular, there's the Cold War time. She decides, forget this. I'm going to hang out with my clan. We're getting back to the epic hunts that they really drive us as Mandalorians. We're going to Rishi. So that's where we are right now. We're standing around on Rishi. She establishes a stronghold on Rishi with her clan in particular, Clan Varad? No, I forgot which was her clan. Regardless, Rishi is where she sets up her base. So it's not until Shadow of Revan expansion where we got Shae Vizla directly back into the game. In the previews and the lead up to Shadow of Revan, we got a little bit of the story of Torch, this mysterious character Torch that we got to hear about. And in fact, I dug this up, Seema, and I don't know if you remember this. Did you read the short story that was put together at the time, called
Probably.
Bedtime on Concordia? Oh, so you didn't read it in the extra link that well, good, because you tear up by the end. It's such a cute story. It's such a nice story. So it's a story of a dad and his two daughters, a Mandalorian dad and his two Mandalorian daughters, like little daughters. They I think they're, they sound like they're like this, like this 6 and 8 or 7 and 9 range, but they want to be Mandalorians too. And they're out in the wild and there's a campfire and they want him to tell dad, tell us a story kind of moment, but Mandalorian style. So Galron the Mandalorian tells the story, but he tells the story of Shae Vizla. And so this was part of the teaser in 2014 that Shae Vizla would potentially be coming back to the game. And it's really, really cute by the end. The little Mandalorian daughter wants to sleep in her dad's helmet so that she can, she's got to be used to sleeping with the helmet on all the time. That kind of thing. So, and there's some notes there about Galron, and Shae Vizla is like out of the picture, and he explains this to the girls. She's off on her own. I know the war has started back up, but Shae Vizla's not in it. And the girls are asking why not? And he says, it's not a big enough challenge. She'll only come back for the biggest of all challenges. And, the story goes, the girls are like, oh, well, you're not looking for a big challenge. Are you, are you, Dad? And they go, no, I've already got two, talking about his daughters.
Aw.
So cute and so nice as a dad. And I've got two daughters. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. So brought a tear to my eye as the whole dad thing. But this kind of lore thing, great, nice little short story. In fact, I would love to find out who wrote this short story. We should look that up because they never put the author's name on this. We should find out. I don't know if Charles wrote it or who, but Shae Vizla's back in the picture. So we find out that Shae Vizla's on Rishi. She's set up a stronghold on Rishi. The locals on Rishi don't know her as Shae Vizla. She's just a Mandalorian who's got this stronghold out in the boonies. They fight these, they hunt these big beasts, and the big beasts or the locals call her Torch. And that's why I keep Shae Vizla around with her helmet off, because that's why they call her Torch. It's because of her iconic red hair.
Yeah.
So she's kind of incognito, just as a Mandalorian who's hanging out. We find out that she's there in the story, in Shadow of Revan, in the point in the story where we get to the Rishi, get to the town, and need to go track down this Torch for more information. This is where we meet back up with Blondie and Satil Shan's kid. I'm blanking on these names. Theron Shan and
Lana Benico. What are you drinking, Max?
I do have half a glass of wine here, but Blondie and the Shan kid. Remember, they were giving us, leading us into this side conversation, and they tell us to go track down this Mandalorian who might be able to help us out. That's when we need to do Blood Hunt the Flashpoint. Blood Hunt at the Flashpoint is excellent Flashpoint. And if you've done it, I'm sure. Seema, what's your impression of Blood Hunt the Flashpoint?
Well, I remember
there's a Rancor you fight. You must have liked that that part of it, at least.
Right. Yes. I liked the fact that Shae Vizla turns up.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that it was challenging.
It is one of the toughest flashpoints in the game. I mean, I think it still is.
It might still be. It's been nerfed a few times, and it's been a while. We should check it out. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if you're going through master modes, it's still up there at the top, if not the most, one of the most difficult. Let's just say that one of the most difficult master mode flashpoints in the game. Still, it's quite
It doesn't
difficult,
come up in rotation very much. Like, I know that.
right? It could be, I think, because it is a tough one. You can do it solo, because you can get the extra droid. That's not too tough. But when you're doing master mode in particular, it is a challenge. Even the
And
very
I think
first fight in there, when you're fighting that Rancor outside her compound, it's nasty. It is a nasty fight.
it can be, yeah. And I think it's a smaller audience of people who want to run that one too, because it's not in the vehicle quests, and you can run it in solo mode for the story. For if you're running through the story, the only people left that would do it are people who are trying to clean up master mode achievements,
Right.
which is a smaller percentage of the population.
Right. Exactly. So it's a tough one, but still a really cool one. I really like the setting. It's got the Rishi jungle and it's Shae Vizla's stronghold. And
Mm-hmm.
then as you come into her stronghold, she says, well, geez, I'm not just gonna, I'm not just gonna like, come out and have tea with you. You're gonna need to prove yourself. You need to prove yourself with 3 challenges. It's it's a couple challenges. I think you do a couple challenges in her arena, and then you fight the not Jargon Sorno. You fight
Right.
the couple, the
Right.
husband
The
and
husband
wife
wife
Mandos,
team.
who are
Yeah.
just nasty to each other, but like you're doing
And
it
to
all
you.
wrong. So you do two. I think you do 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 of the challenges that are random on the sides. Then you fight the couple in the middle. Then you get deeper into the compound, and then you do a 1-on-1 fight or a 4-on-1 fight with Shae Vizla, and she throws a lot of traps at you. And if you're worthy, if you beat her in a fight, yeah, 3 out of 6. So Forster says in the chat room, 3 out of 6 challenges. And I like that part of any flashpoint where it's a little bit dynamic and maybe it's going to be a little bit different each time. Quat Drive Yards flashpoint is spectacular this way. I wish they would do more flashpoints that way, where it's like 1 out of 3 in phase 1 and 1 out of 3 fights in phase 2. So every time you go in there, it's got a great chance of it being different. We used to grind flash quat drive yards flashpoint over and over again, and it could be relatively different, even doing it back to back to back. Blood Hunt's a little bit that way, so that's great. But then yeah, you fight Shae Vizla at the end, and if you win, then she's willing to talk to you. That's the story. It's like she doesn't just talk to anybody. You got to prove yourself. You prove yourself, she comes talk to you. Then she says, okay, this is great. I've been staying out of it. I get the deal but like the Revenites, this whole Revenite stuff is getting a little dicey. You know, keep me on speed dial. We'll see what comes up from here. Call me. She doesn't want to just straight up join the war, but she says, okay, but I'm not going to take the whole clan and dive them into this war thing. But you know, you seem like a stand-up, fighter here.
Individual, yes.
You proved yourself. I will come join you in this, just to deal with this whole Revan thing. And then she's part of the rest of the Revan story at that point. You remember, Seema, when we get to the end of Yavin, when you're doing it solo, you go into that fight. If you do the solo fight against Revan at the very end,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's Shakaro, it's Teal Shan, it's Darth Mar, and it's Shae Vizla, and Alana Beniko. Is Theron Shan there, or is he just on the?
I think he is.
I think he is. If not, he's just doing the voiceover, going, "Oh, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. I'm doing remote support for you, but whatever. I mean, they're in spirit," which he likes to do.
Right, from the Underlooker fight.
but she's there to help you out. She's there through the through the story end of the Revan story there. She does a little bit, I believe she has a little bit of the part on Darvanis. That's part of the Revan, Shadow of Revan expansion. Yeah, so she's there with Darvanis as well. There's some cool stuff that happens in Darvanis. And throughout all of this, it was during this time, I believe, that she became the new Mandalore as well. Wasn't she? Yeah. So when you get to past Shadow of Revan, when you get to starts of the Knights of the Eternal Throne or Knights of the Fallen Empire, that's the point where the Darvanis part doesn't come to the Knights of the Fallen Empire. I jumped ahead a little bit there. So that's the whole Shadow of Revan story. She helps you out. She defeats Revan, and again elevates herself within the Mandalorians. At the time of Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne, the previous Mandalore, the Mandalore the Vindicated, is killed in battle as part of the whole invasion of Zakul, and the Arkan, and coming in and beating up everybody. She ends up becoming the next Mandalore, so she becomes Mandalore the Avenger. So she is no longer Shae Vizla really at this point. She is Mandalore the Avenger. When you become Mandalore, that's the name you take. You are now Mandalore.
Right.
So at this point, even as she's your companion, she is Mandalore the Avenger. That's who she is. That's so the Darvanis part when you as parts of the whole Knights of Eternal Empire 2 series, when you do the little side part on Darvanis with the Mandalorians, I believe even who was with you at that point? I don't think a couple of the other companions are coming out in and out. Torian has a key part in that sort of side story as well. But she's there. She's part of the driving factor of what's going on within the whole Knights of the Eternal Throne storyline, Knights of the Fallen Empire story throne, and Torian is part of that as well. So Torian, is Torian still alive for you, Seema?
Oh, yeah, he is. I'm probably the only one.
Mm-hmm. Probably because I sacrificed Torian because that was
everyone sacrificed Torian for Vet.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't just Vet. Vet's really cool. I'm gonna get Vet. Although I probably would have just done it for that reason too. But especially in a choice between Vet and Torian, and the whole Mandalore thing, it's like Vet didn't sign up for that. That's not Vet's deal. Torian, if I'm gonna leave anybody to fight it out to the bitter end, Torian's my guy for that. So that was the choice that I made.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the choice that you made, was it, Seema? Why is that?
No, because Torian was my character's husband.
He was your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Torian is a Mandalorian also. Torian connects with Shae Vizla as part of that whole story as well, and gets back a little bit more through that to his Mandalorian roots in a really good way. So I think that was good. So if you've got Torian still around, he's got that connection, and I think that's really cool too. So anything else sort of on the Shae Vizla story? I think it's just a really cool how they sort of wove her back in from those original trailers into multiple expansions, and now she's still with us.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really about her story so much as the story of the other companions, which is that one of the reasons that I really like Shae Vizla and Nico Okar and Darth Hexid, et cetera, is I was really scarred when we lost all our companions.
Yeah.
And I had put so much work into what was the old system called? Not influence, but was it called affection?
Yeah. Affection and
or whatever. I like like my favorite companion at the time was Scorpio, and I had raised her to level 50 influence, and um, then of course that became a wasted effort.
Right. Which is the
So I never
problem.
wanted to go through that again. So now when and I don't think it's not the same issue for me anymore, but I still kind of default to those characters that I know that they're not going to take away because they were awarded for whatever reason.
Yes. And that gets back to another reason that like Shae Vizla, Nico Okar, um,
Paxton Rawl,
Paxton Rawl,
Treek,
Treek, Darth Hexid, Darth Reyna, or Jedi Reynos, Master
Master Reynos.
Reynos.
Yeah, yeah,
Any of those companions that you got for a special thing, they will never be taken away as part of the story.
right.
The whole idea of companions going like Lana, even Lana Benico could go away as part of story in the future. Now
Right.
they tend to do I like Scorpio. I think you can go to that console on
Yes, you can.
Odessen and get Scorpio back, but it's weird if they're like gone as part of your story, and
Yeah,
that makes it
I
really
know.
complicated.
I mean, so I guess I would consider that and then just use her as a crafter maybe. But yes, I mean, I felt that was not a good solution for me, so I never did that.
Right. So that, yeah, but you're right. Then that's another reason I really like Shae Vizla. She won't go away. They're not going to like say, oh, now that you got this subscriber reward, you kind of paid money to get this companion back.
Mhm.
Yeah, as part of the story, we're going to write her out, and now you can't use her anymore. They're not going to do that. So it's
Right.
a,
And hopefully they won't do that for any character anymore. But who knows? And the reason I say it's not as big of an issue for me now is it's way easier to get a character, a companion to influence 50. You just need
yeah,
credits
yeah, 4 million
and,
credits and some,
and
well,
3 dark projects.
3 dark
And
projects.
which I mean, they also cost money, so it's a little bit more than 4 million. But I have a character right now with 20 or so million credits on her that's specifically for if I wake up one morning and decide I want to raise somebody's influence to level 50, that's what that little pile of credits is for.
Yeah. Oh, to keep it away from your Trace Comas balance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Forster in the chat room says that Charles Boyd was the author of that short story. Well
Oh,
done, Charles. That is
yeah,
a great
nice
short
one.
story. Really well done. And I don't think Charles was a dad at the time. I don't think he's a dad now, is he? I mean, it's a total dad story. I feel like
Yeah,
it would be tough to come up with that story without being a dad. So it was, or a parent. So that was really good. But of course, I mean, or not. I mean, it's not like I couldn't write a story about. Yeah, it's not like you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes. I guess that's a dumb thing to say.
I read something a long, long, long time ago. Somebody was saying about writers that they're always it's oftentimes the writer in the room that's very interested in everybody else's story. So
Yeah,
I can see somebody like Charles talking to parents and listening to what they have to say and sort of getting that,
yeah,
because a
that
lot of
makes
people
sense.
in conversations, they aren't really listening, they're just waiting until their next turn to talk,
Right, right. Collecting other people's stories and using that to
or
create
they're
characters and
typing
their
things while you
motivations.
talk.
I understand the subtext. Sorry, what were you saying, Seema? I was chatting here with
Well, I
with the chat room.
for one thing I explained all about um the thing that you explained later.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did, because I get distracted. I got a lot of things going on. All right. All right. To wrap it up, one of the things I wanted to touch on was the voice actor for Shae Vizla. So the voice actor for Shae Vizla is Sumali Montano. And Sumali Montano was in some recent some actual acting work that you and I, Seema, have both encountered
Right.
in the series Picard.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah, I did watch that.
yeah. So if you watch the series, if you watch season 1 of Picard, she was, so there's the droid girl. What's the droid girl's name? Spoiler.
Soji.
Soji. Soji. Shut this off if you don't want Picard spoilers. Soji is the droid offspring of Data, who Picard is trying to protect as part of the whole season. She has memories implanted. One of the memories that she has implanted is of her quote unquote mom. The mom shows up as a hologram multiple times. The mom is played by Sumali Montano. So there you go. So I didn't spoil too much, Sir Galahad. Sorry there. And that doesn't get you too far, but you know
Also,
right away.
you know, this might be an unpopular opinion, but you can die happy without ever watching Picard.
Yeah. Picard was fine. I mean, it's not Mandalorian quality stuff, and I enjoyed quite a bit of Picard. I didn't enjoy Picard 100%. Let's put it that way. So maybe I enjoyed Picard every time, 80% of the time. So there you go.
I'm completely different. Like, Max is able to enjoy 80% of it and not 20% of it, but for me the 20% ruins the whole thing, so I don't like any of it now.
Yeah, so unless although that if I get below like that, around that 80% threshold, that could be a series that I don't bother to watch season 2. But I will never, like, it takes a lot for me to really hate something, to like say, oh, that was
I know,
terrible.
you like
I don't like it.
everything.
I like everything.
You do like everything, and I dislike almost everything.
I mean, I think I got to the end of the series. What was that? Oh, Warrior Nun on Netflix. Watch it. I love it. Warrior
Okay,
Nun.
I should check that out. Yeah.
Oh,
like-
season 2 of The Legends of Monkey King. This is how I got so excited. New Legend of Monkey. Got to go watch Monkey King on Netflix.
You watched season 2 of The Magician.
Magicians. Yes, I did.
Oh my god.
That was bad. That was terrible. The end of season 1 was so bad. There's just so much bad things going on. But yeah, I watched season 2, and season 2 got a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Anyway, okay, now we're way off track. Sumali Montano, I would say, we should try to get her on the show, but she's kind of a big deal. I don't think we would ever get her on the show. She is like serious business.
Working Nerds podcast.
She is like super cool too. I love some of the stuff that she's done, and I really loved what she did in Picard.
Yeah, she was good in that.
I would love to interview her. She is a real deal. But anyway, so that wraps up our talk on Shae Vizla. Shae Vizla is super cool. You should get her as a companion anytime. Subscribing anytime between now and October 5th. You will get her as a companion. You only need to subscribe once. It's an awesome thing about what they do with Star Wars: The Old Republic. They don't make you subscribe for long amounts of time. If you are not up to date with the expansions currently, remember that's also another benefit. You subscribe one time and you get all content unlocked forever up to today. If they come out with another expansion in the future, that won't be unlocked, but you will be up to date. So that's how it goes. So there you go, Shae Vizla. I think with that we can wrap it up. Our EPC 351 droid can get all this vital information about Shae Vizla out to all of you in the galaxy. Please keep up with us in the future at Max the Gray and at AIE SEMA on Twitter, or come find us on Starforge with AIE Guild on Starforge, both on the Republic and the Imperial side. You can come find us on aie-guild.org to get our Discord information and check us out there. we would love to get you in the guild and get you a guild invite anytime. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.